That's a different situation here. If you're buying into a company and devices with knowledge that they've been placed on the FCC's list, that may be a relevant factor.
Do you think that sellers and buyers in the United States should be concerned about purchasing or dealing in this equipment that's on the FCC's list as posing a national security threat?
Yeah, I think entities should be making decisions cognizant of that FCC determination. And here's why. One reason why we have engaged in this billion-dollar effort to reimburse entities that put Huawei gear in there is there was a policy determination and somewhere along the line that these entities, these small carriers, rural carriers, other entities that purchased this devices did so in good faith. Some claim that they consulted with national security entities at the time and they didn't hear back about any red flags. And so it was a good faith purchase, a good faith investment without knowledge of the national security risks. And that's a different situation here. If you're buying into a company and devices with knowledge that they've been placed on the FCC's list, that may be a relevant factor if the FCC goes down the road and, makes additional decisions about, rip and replace and other components of that deal. We have organic authority that if we need to go back on a license approval, I'm not aware of any precedent that, prohibits the FCC from doing that. I go back to Huawei on that. So if you go back to 2017, maybe 2018, when we first started down this process, we issued a notice of proposed rulemaking that said, let's look at the national security threat posed by Huawei and similar gear. In the initial draft that was circulated, that document said we're only going to be looking prospective at not letting new gear in if we find there's a problem. And I said, time out. I went to my FCC colleagues and I said, look, if we determine that there's a sufficient concern here, we need to put on the table getting that gear that's in the network already out of it. So we did that. We included that in our notice. We saw a comment on it. Flash forward to today, and of course, we are engaging in a rip and replace process right now with Huawei gear. So I think that's pretty good precedent that says, if we make the decision that there's sufficient reason to get gear out of the network, then, we should take that step.